Welcome to Inside the Skev, and I'm your host, Aaron Masliansky. Today we're here sitting down with Victoria Reeves, and Victoria is a person who does quite a bit in Evanston, and she's going to tell you all about it today, and so excited to have you here, Victoria.
Hi, I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah.
Hello.
So you've got a lot going on. You are doing Soul Stories Live, and that's all about where people can come up and talk about different stories that they're doing. You have a one-woman show. You're at YOU. You are really out there in the community.
I think they call it multi-passionate now. There's actually a word for it.
Yes.
Forever I was just weird, but now, I'm a creative.
You are a creative. And it's fun.
It is fun.
And you seem to really enjoy it. I mean, we've gotten to speak and gotten to know each other a little bit now.
True.
And, it's just, you have such an enthusiasm for what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And, so what do you want to tell us about today about what is going on that people should know about?
Okay, well, so let's do first things first chronologically, because in 2 days, we have the Chicago premiere of my one-woman show, which is called Brassy and Intrepid, Fighting to Be Me. And it is a one-woman show that I wrote and produced. It started out as you and I discussed before, as a memoir that I was writing. And the original memoir was called Experiments in Living, How a Radical Feminist Survived Motherhood on a Suzuki Motorcycle. So that memoir is still in my computer and has not been released yet. But about halfway through that, I realized, I'd rather just do shorter vignettes about moments of my life that sort of represented and introduced people to periods of evolution without getting super abstract in terms of both my experience in finding my own voice and also other people's experiences in finding their own voices despite the messages of other people, family, friends, society, expectations, etc. So that's why the show is called Brassy and Intrepid, Fighting to Be Me, because sometimes we have to fight to preserve our own voice within the chorus of other people's ideas and needs and feelings and thoughts about who we should be or what we should be.
And how would you describe what a one-person show is?
Wow. Okay, how long do you have?
All the time in the world.
All the time in the world.
We're on fake radio here.
Here we go. Da-da-da-da-da. Fake radio. That should be your jingle.
It should be.
It should be. Let's work on that. So what am I saying? How does a person make a one-woman show?
Or what is it? I mean, if somebody's never been to a one-person show, what
Great
is
question. Okay, so I would say that in the world of actors and stand-up folks, improv folks, storytellers, a one-person show in general is kind of the pinnacle of what most people want to achieve, and it's also considered the most challenging, okay? So my show is Me, and Me. It's about 50 minutes long. There are 10 characters in my show, all of whom make cameo appearances to help me tell my story. So there's acting, right? There's acting involved. I channel my dad from the afterlife. It's fantastic. He had a lot of opinions. He gave me a lot of material. Love you, Dad. And my mom, she's no longer with us, but she comes out on stage a lot.
Oh, man.
Family members, friends, people I met on the road. There's a lot of travel. It's an international travel kind of a story, the show. So what's a one-woman show? It's basically very simplistic, okay? It's not theatrical in the sense of there's no set. The set is a small mat and a chair and a basket with a feather boa. That's it. It's all me. So that's why it's considered the biggest challenge, the most significant challenge as a performer, because you're using your body, you're using your face, your voice, and of course your words in the writing. I wrote the script myself to tell a story and to create images and scenes for people when there's nothing else going on except for your voice. And if you think about that in this day and age where we're so hyper stimulated, whatever, in all the ways that we're connected,
right,
to come into a room and sit down and turn off your device and just hear a story for an hour, as a listener, it's a gift to the performer. And as the solo artist, it's definitely, I'm exhausted. After my show, I go home and I sleep.
Oh, you must.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be 100% engaged.
Yes.
And as an audience member, you have to be engaged in order to be involved and see what's going on.
Exactly. So I'm trying to remember the analogy that I had come up with the other day in the hot tub, which is where I do most of my thinking. It was something about storytelling is kind of like an experiential sweat lodge, like, like the Native American sweat lodge concept,
Sure.
where it is in other cultures too, or like a sauna, and where you come in and you like almost like sweat out your impurities, and then you leave like stronger and ready to take on the day because you've like walked through the fire. And that's a lot of what it's like for the audience and the person on stage, because you're just connecting in this almost, spiritual way in some cases, because it's like, I'm a human, you're a human, here's this point of connection, and it's very vulnerable. It's actually
I was
very
going to
vulnerable.
say that's incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
When was the first time you did one of these?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. So I took a class from somebody named Scott Whitehair. He's pretty famous in the storytelling community here in Chicago. He hosts like Story Lab, yes, and This Much Is True, at a show here in Evanston called Fresh Meat, which is a long-form show. And so I took his class, which is in his apartment in a basement, and it was like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years ago. And people have been telling me forever that I'm funny, and I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I just was like, that's just me. That's my jam. But people are like, no, you're funny, and you're interesting, and your stories are interesting. Because I professionally, what I've been doing forever, and I still do, is that I'm a creativity and a career coach, so I work with clients one-on-one, figuring out what they want to do with their life, basically, and then helping them through writing to make that happen. Without launching on a whole thing about that, but it's like, resume writing, LinkedIn writing, all the different ways we present our story, okay,
right,
to the world professionally, and also public speaking. So long story short, in a lot of my private sessions, I would use anecdotes to make a point with my clients. And they'd be like, girl, that is like interesting, or that's funny, or that totally resonates with me. So I went and took this class, and that was the beginning. Like, that was just the beginning of everything.
You're very perceptive of how people, even just with our conversations, you have all these ideas for me that like, it's just, yes, that's clear as day. Why didn't I see that?
Nice.
And, what did your parents do? Where did you learn that?
So my father used to always tell us, like, no matter what you do in your life, I want you just to feel confident to walk into any room with any person in any situation and know that you belong there and that you deserve to be there. Like, he was like, that's, they gave us amazing education. I grew up in Flossmoor, all the best schools, went to Beloit College, private school, et cetera. By the way, I launch into this in my show about my mother's dream for me to be a debutante at the Ravislow Country Club. And then my reality of like being a starving artist and like being an MC at a Japanese karaoke bar when I graduated with my college degree. So that happened.
That was your rebellion.
And, that was the beginning of the end. And then my dad was an actor off Broadway, actually.
Oh.
So it's definitely in our family. Very performative, very funny, very perceptive. And like, have you seen Woody Allen films?
Sure.
I'm sure you probably have. So like growing up in my family was kind of like eating dinner and Annie Hall,
Yeah.
Like everyone's talking. So we learned really quickly, like, if you want to say something, you better jump in because everyone's talking fast and everyone's super smart and everybody has opinions. So you have to like boom, 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 hone your ideas and get them out there.
That's how a lot of people, I think, in entertainment or some of these industries are good at it because you're raised in it. It's all about practice.
Oh, yeah. A lot of practice. Yeah. And so my dad ended up leaving the theater because my mom got pregnant with my sister and then with me. And so my grandfather was like, get in the steel industry because you need a regular job.
Isn't the steel industry?
Well, he passed now, but he was, Central Steel and Wire Company.
Okay.
Southside Wire.
My father worked in the steel industry for 45 years.
Okay, look at that. Went back when you
Steel.
could have a job for 45 years.
Yeah.
At the same place.
Mm-hmm. Which is now ArcelorMittal. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think Central is still down there. But yeah, and this is a great story, briefly, that so my dad goes into Central for his interview. Maybe I shouldn't say this on the air. It's okay. He's no longer there. Okay. And they said, well, we're looking for a welding and brazing engineer. Do you have experience? My dad's like, yeah, no problem. He's a tall guy, handsome guy, looks great. He's an actor, right? He's like, yeah, I got it. Didn't know anything about it.
He's acting.
And beautiful, right? Fantastic. Yeah. So I remember my dad going to the library and coming home and having like 20 books on the kitchen table. He taught himself everything about the industry. And he ended up staying there for 35 years. And,
So it kind of taught you, and how old were you when that was going on?
Like 5.
So that's formative for you.
100%. Like whatever you want, as we talked about the other day, the only limitation is between your ears, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, just do it. Yeah.
And I can see why you're helpful for, being a coach and helping people with trying to figure out and get past themselves.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and your own idea and your own perception.
Yes.
About who you can be and what you can be. And then the other side of that equation was my mom, who, sad story, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 5.
Oh, man.
So she was in a wheelchair my whole life growing up. But my mom was amazing, like just brilliant and funny and super chatty. Like she'd walk into a restaurant and know every waitress's like backstory within the first 5 minutes because she interviewed people. That she was like the early, Studs Terkel, and she used to listen to WGN, like 24 Hours, talk radio. Like she was fascinating, and she knew everything that was going on, like you, in the neighborhood, and she was great. And so the joke about my mom is kind of a weird joke, is that when she died, we had a 14-hour wake at the Two's funeral home in Homewood because she had made friends to so many people, most of whom were like service people in the service industry, and they all wanted to come to her funeral.
Oh, wow.
So we had to have like a 2-shift wake so that everybody could come. I'm telling you. Yeah, these are my parents. They were pretty amazing.
That's so touching.
Yes.
It must have been really nice for you to see that. I mean,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's important for you to probably from your parents to kind of get to know the neighborhood, know people, and
yes,
and you have no fear with speaking with people.
No.
Yeah.
I love people.
It's great.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I talk to people everywhere I go.
And some of it is sharing their stories, and so you're doing the show that you have going on.
So and
so then you also have Soul Stories live that you do as well.
I do.
Yeah.
Can I just throw out the dates on
Please,
the Solo?
yes.
Sorry, just before
throw out the dates, and we'll also repeat it again at the end so everyone remembers. But
okay.
What what are the dates, and where can they go to see you?
Okay, so Filet of Solo is a festival. It's not just me. I'm part of a whole crew. It's 3 weekends. Right now we're on the beginning of weekend 2, January 10th to the 26th. It's all solo performance and collaborative storytelling groups. So they're like 7 solo shows, and then all the other performances are groups. And it's sponsored by Lifeline Theater. The physical location of my show is at the Teal Room, which is Pub 626, 1405 West Morse in Chicago on PT. Get off at the Morse train station. It's right there at the bottom of the stairs. So basic facts, my show is called Brassy and Intrepid, Fighting to Be Me. It's January 17th, which is this Friday at 8:30 p.m., and then there's another performance on January 26th, which is a Sunday at 4 p.m. Tickets are $10, and people can get tickets at lifelinetheatertre.com.
Great. And is it for adults mainly? Would you bring kids?
I would say that my show starts out with me and my friends experimenting with speculums at the Beloit College Women's Center and seeing inside of ourselves literally and figuratively. So leave the kids at home, folks, okay?
All right.
It's radical. Just set the stage. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah, that definitely sets the stage.
It's a visual. It's good. It's always good.
That's awesome.
I think I threw Aaron for a loop here, folks. Okay.
I think so.
It's good, though. It's all good.
Yeah. So you've got that going on.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorite radio show by far all time is Howard Stern. So, it's not, that doesn't totally throw me through for a loop. I don't think they've ever had speculums on the show, but
not yet,
everything else.
But they might invite me. You never know.
He's such a great interviewer, though. But you've got that going on. You've got Soul Stories Live.
Yes.
So what is that?
Okay, so we'll segue. So Soul Stories Live is a monthly show. Mm-hmm. So no matter when you're listening to this broadcast, you can check it out at Facebook. On Facebook, we are Soul Stories Live. That's the name of our page on Facebook. And what is it? Okay, so we are at the Firehouse Grill, 750 Chicago Avenue here in Evanston. We get the whole second floor, which is fabulous. We can seat about 100, I think 110 is our capacity. And every month we do, I call it like dinner theater, but it's during the afternoon. So it's a Sunday brunch from 1 to 2. My husband is a pretty well-known DJ here in Chi-Town, Johnny Price. And Johnny Price spins a whole soul music brunch, which is super fly and fun. People do sing. It has happened. And dance.
That's awesome.
It's just crazy fun. And then from 2 to 4, so that's 1 to 2. And then from 2 to 4, we have 7 moth-style storytellers from all over Chicagoland who get up and tell personal stories. So it's definitely not an open mic by any means. It's a curated show. People audition to be in our show. Most of our performers have like stand-up, comedy, acting, hosting, some, like experience on stage.
Yeah.
So they're not what I call like working it out on stage. Like they're experienced performers. They know how to engage an audience.
They've bombed before.
They bombed before, and now they're better.
Yes.
We want them after they bomb.
Exactly.
Don't work it out. And there are many opportunities to do that kind of processing on stage, like open mic storytelling all over the city.
Yeah.
Like all over the city. But that's not what we're doing. And so, yeah, I mean, my husband wears a suit. I wear long dresses. It's dressed up. People are fancy. It's really fun.
So much fun.
It's so much fun. And you get home in time to see 60 Minutes, which is like the best part.
Yeah, you'll have your early dinner.
Your early dinner. The food at Firehouse is fly. I'm a vegetarian. I eat their veggie burger and
me too.
garlic mashed potatoes. Well, when
Perfect.
you come, you got to try it. It's very good. And you meet people. And so the whole impetus for the show, which we had talked about when I met you earlier, is that my husband and I wanted to create an opportunity for all different people from Evanston, but also from Skokie, Chicago, North Shore. We get folks. I'd say the furthest north that one of our tellers came from was Lake Forest, and the furthest south that one of our tellers came from was 43rd at Ashland.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm pretty happy about that. So all right, now we just need to go west.
Yes.
Like we're covering
Iowa.
Iowa, yeah, let's get them in. If you're listening in Iowa, call me.
I have had people tell me that they've listened from Iowa, actually.
That would be great.
Yes.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
So geographic diversity, okay, but then also obviously racial, economic, experiential diversity in terms of ability. We have a show coming up in May, actually, which is going to be half signed.
Really?
And the whole thing is going to be signed, but we have 3 deaf tellers that are performing. And so we want to do a hybrid of hearing and deaf performers and audience members, which is not usually done. Like there is deaf performance, but it's usually for deaf audiences. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to break that idea and get those voices and those stories out too.
That is really fantastic.
It's fun.
Why is that important to you to reach out to everybody?
My mom and the 14-hour wake. I go back to Sherry. Yeah, I mean, that's actually, I'm laughing, but it's actually true. I never feel lonely. Everywhere I go, I talk to people. I'm interested in people, genuinely interested in people. And I feel like I've been to 15 countries, actually, by myself. I'm a pretty radical gal. Like a lot of countries that people are like, are you nuts? And
like which ones?
Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Thailand, Canada, Mexico, Turkey, England, France, Holland. I don't know what number I'm on. Yeah, some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Backpacking. Predominantly.
What have you learned by traveling?
Oh, that we're so much more alike than we are different.
Yeah.
100%. And that really, first of all, okay, without getting insanely political, but this whole thing of like we are all one, I don't agree with that. So I think that we are unified in the sense that we are all human, okay? And we want similar things. But we also have very, very different experiences as we navigate throughout the world, kind of based on the package that we're currently in, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Sure. And it can mean you could be very different living a block away from somebody.
My husband's African American, I'm Caucasian. When we walk in a store, we have very different experiences. And we live in the same house for 25 years, right? I mean, literally. So, and I think that's part of why we've survived together for this long. It's like I can't be like, oh, I understand how you feel. He'd be like, girl, you do not shut up. Like, you're not me. But he's not me either.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we kind of started there and echoed out in terms of navigating and being different The short version to that answer is that I lived in Japan for 4 years, was teaching English there, and initially I went by myself, and then my husband joined me later, and I was living in a small town of 6,000 people, and I was the first foreigner to ever live in this town, and I spoke no Japanese at all.
How old were you then?
I was 32.
Okay, so you're pretty young and
relatively
isolated.
Yeah. Very isolated. And I cried the first month. I'm like, what am I doing? This is nuts.
How'd you get through it?
I found that point where I could connect with people. I asked a lot of questions. I had a Japanese English dictionary. I went to dinner parties and I tried to talk to the different instructors at my school. I was teaching English at a middle school. And they were very gracious, and they invited me, and I'd talk about like politics and history and culture and art and everything, like using my dictionary and the Japanese words that I knew to try to connect with them. Yeah, it would change my whole life. And I was just like, okay, if I could build a community with these people and they could accept me on the other side of the world in a mountain village, where I'm the only foreigner and the only American and the only whatever, all my different identifiers, then that's just the beginning, right?
How do you feel as an American going internationally, and especially to a place like Japan where we had war with them? Obviously, it was a long time ago, but I'm sure it's still on the minds of people.
So my school started in August, and I should Google this if I had my phone sitting here. Is it the anniversary of, I think it's the anniversary of Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Is mid-August. And so they had a school...
They both happened around the same time.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so they had a school-wide, you can't, like, an assembly. I wouldn't call it a celebration. It was an assembly, and then I was there.
August 6th and 9th.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. And I was there, and then I was on the stage, and they're like, this is Victoria. She's from America. And they put me on the mic, and I'm like,
oh, boy.
My gosh. Like, what, And so all I could do is I just went up, and I just said, I'm sorry. And I love every single one of you, even though I just got here like 2 days ago and we haven't met yet.
And you weren't even born when
you weren't even
happened.
born, but your parents were born.
Yeah.
I mean, right? And their grandparents, and many of them had connections with that. And that's what I said. I was just like, I'm sorry, and I love you, and I don't represent that. That's my country, but I don't believe in that. I don't represent that. I'm myself, and I hope that you can just see me for who I am.
Yeah.
And they did, which is amazing.
It is amazing. I think it's important, when we all travel from any country, to be able to put ourselves in the foreigner's shoe, and to be able to be in the shoe of somebody else and to be able to understand where they're coming from, and then you could have a real conversation. Right. And then you break down those walls. Right. And I mean, is that what you find with all these things that you're doing with storytelling, so people can get to know each other? Yes. So, so one other thing I just want to throw out real quickly. I used to teach after I came back from Japan. I was teaching English as a second language to factory workers on the west and the south side of Chicago, and so they were predominantly from like Mexico and Central America and South America, and all men. And I was pregnant with my son. It'd be like 6 a.m. classes in a factory on the west side of Chicago. Like me and my pickup truck. I'm like, am I nuts? Same thing. I'm like, am I nuts or am I a revolutionary? I don't know. Both. The verdict is still out, but this is so cool. But I mean, nothing bad ever happened to me. Like, everyone was so protective of me, and they would invite me to these parties at their houses, like tres leches. Have you ever had it? It's like 3-bell cake. No. Oh, it's dangerous. But like, there's amazing Mexican food, and like the wives and the kids in the background and the backyard and stuff. So again, same thing, right? And I'm driving around neighborhoods in the south and west side of Chicago, like by myself. People are like, are you crazy? I'm like, no. These are mothers, these are fathers, these are grandparents, these are neighbors, these are children, right? Right. I don't know. That's my worldview. I think it's all about, what you. I'm not saying crime doesn't happen. It's a reality. We know this. But the fact is that we can navigate in foreign lands, even in our backyard or in our same city or across the globe. And if we approach it with a perspective of embracing change, embracing difference, and expecting nothing. That's, okay, can I tell you the last 4 lines of my show? Please. Although, still come see the show, even though you know the last lines of it, okay? These are the last 4 lines of Brassy. 1, jump into life with both feet.
So the question is, Victoria, you've done all this crazy stuff. My neighbor's asking me, and you've done all these amazing things, and you're not afraid, and you don't live your life based in fear. How do you do it? What's your secret? Okay, so here's my secret for living a badass life. Can I swear on here?
You can.
I did. That's as bad as it's going to get, I promise. So, number 1, jump in with both feet. Number 2, expect nothing from anybody, from anything, from any situation. You just arrive and don't have an expectation. Number 3, embrace everything. And number 4, in all things be brassy and intrepid.
You
That's
could live
it.
a badass life that way.
You could live a badass life because you're going to approach every person, every situation, every opportunity with an openness to see what happens.
Yeah. Makes it much more interesting that way.
100%. 500%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like when you're in that closed-minded way of thought, you're never going to find something that is interesting and new to you. It's all about learning and growing.
It's all about learning and growing, and we could circle back to the whole Skevinston idea here, because this is the beauty of storytelling for sure, and even what you're doing with your podcast, which is also storytelling, right?
Sure.
I mean, there are many echoes, which is why I think that we're becoming friends. Everybody,
we are.
I just want to announce this publicly. We're friends. Aaron and I are friends. It's great. After 2 times talking,
yeah, I love it.
It's beautiful. And this is what it is. But the point is this: okay, what's the square mileage? Well, you know the answer to this. Evanston, Skokie. I don't know. It's not a lot. He's
know.
like, shoot, where's my computer? Let me look this up.
Yeah, I'll dub it in.
But I know, yeah, there we go.
No,
But it's not a lot, right? These aren't super
It's not
big.
that big.
It's not that big, right?
It's about 165,000 people who live between the two communities.
Collectively.
Yes.
Which in the world scope of things is pretty darn tiny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But within this microcosm of a community, there's so much, I hate this word because it's so cliche, diversity, but there's so many different thought patterns and processes and focuses and energies. This is a fascinating part of the world. So that the point is, if we have the perspective of showing up each day to learn something new, even in a space that's not geographically large, we can have an adventure every single day going to the grocery store.
Oh, totally.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, it's when you start to dive in. For me, I grew up here and been working here for a long time. But going out there and actually meeting all these different people, you start to see a whole nother light of the community. It's like, and it opens it up to all these other people that didn't realize that all these great things are going on right here.
Like in your backyard.
Yes.
Like literally in your backyard. And also, I'm really interested in optics as a concept. And in fact, I was just doing a lot of research about this morning. That we live in this sort of social media world. And it's weird. Like as a performer, I'm on social media all the time now, right? And my picture is everywhere, which, believe me, is exciting and scary at the same time. You're like, whoa, or oh. It's the full gamut. More the first. Hopefully more of the first. But where was I going with that? Oh, so the whole thing of optics, right? And how we could see each other physically and be like, oh, okay, I got my idea about you, just based
case
on
closed.
Yeah, case closed, and what you're wearing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But this is the cool thing about storytelling is that when the person opens their mouth, you're like, dang, I had no idea that person ... Right? That they did this, that they thought this, that they had this experience. Okay, great example. There's a woman, she's 67. She's pretty prominent in the Chicago storytelling scene. She's been around forever, and she's brilliant. And we're talking the other day, and she's like, oh, yeah, I used to be part of the Black Panthers. Dude, and she's this white woman that lives in Oak Park, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she gets a perm, and she's very you know what I'm saying?
Very proper.
She's very proper. I'm like, what? You were in the Black Panthers? And she's like, oh, yeah. I love stuff like that.
You really find out those nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you listen.
Yeah. And I think also when you have a diversity of thoughts or, people coming from all different angles, it's like a healthy ecosystem because, you look at a forest and what's a healthy, it has diversity of species, of animals, plants, whatever, because it all interacts and works together.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we have here.
Yes, I totally agree. And the other thing I would like to say about Soul Stories Live is that it's super exciting to me. So we had, like theater seating rows. Okay.
Yeah.
This is before we had food because we've been doing our show for a while now. Before we had Firehouse, we were in a different venue. And so we would have like theater seating. And then I said to my husband, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do like community style seating where these big tables and everyone's just around tables together. So when they walk in, they sit down next to someone they don't know. Mm-hmm. And that even if you come by yourself, boom, 10 minutes into the gig, you're talking to your neighbor because you're about to order food.
Right.
And you're breaking bread together. And we, as I mentioned before, we have a biracial family. And when we had our wedding at the Loyola Park District, no, you didn't. Yes, we did. It was DIY. It was great. I mean, the whole thing was like $500. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Oh, my God. You're making
it can be done. Yeah. Call
collapse
me.
Right now.
I'll tell you how to do it. But it was fantastic. And so we were like, okay, we don't want to have like the black side and the white side because that's just going to be weird, right? Like his people, my people. So we had our hosts and our door people handing out programs and stuff. And they said, please, welcome to Victoria and Johnny's wedding. Please sit next to someone that you don't know. Like even back then,
it was already in your mind.
We were thinking this way, and it was the same thing. It was like we did a buffet. We had like soul food and pedophores. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It was great. That's all I can say.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
It's it gets people out of their shells, and some of the things, some of the people that I've had on the show. Really try to do the same thing. We're bringing people together from all over. So it's like I've had Lauren Grossman on, who runs Across the Table.
Yeah.
And that organization is all about getting people around the table, having a meal, talking about things that they wouldn't normally talk about with their neighbor who they don't know. They're the stranger.
Right.
And then you really get to know each other. I mean, I just did an event for anyone who's been a guest on the show that Lauren ran. And, most of these people did not know each other. They just happened to all be on the show. And we talked about what does it mean to be a success. And,
nice.
People really opened up. It's really amazing how people open up when they are given the opportunity. And you get to know someone really well. And then you start to, form a bond and a relationship and a friendship.
Right.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's magic.
It is.
It's really all I want to do.
Yeah.
Like every day of my life. Yeah, 100%. Just provide that platform for personal expression. That's what's more important than that. Well, I mean, to me, nothing.
Yeah.
Because everything comes from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's your essence.
That's the essence. And the other thing, which is, if I can just throw this out, which is kind of a byproduct of Soul Stories Live, which we're like, wow, we didn't even realize this was going to happen, is that a lot of people have been coming to us and saying, hey, I want to volunteer. I want to help in the beginning, like you have to go to the bar to order, for example, because it's upstairs. So like our one friend from water aerobics from my class, he'll be there next time, and he's going to guide people of, how to order and where to get their coffee and stuff. Like a lot of retired people are like, Victoria, I want to volunteer. I want to help out with setting up the show, or I want to help you get the word out. Or one of my previous clients, can I say his name?
Sure.
Okay. Morton Nykrug. Hi, Mort. He's a videographer. Genius. Okay, he does motion graphics video. Do you know what that is?
No, tell me.
It's like this whole genre I did not know about. So it's like video and photography. So some actual real video and then of, things happening, and then photography, and then also like motion graphics, like 3D.
Oh, cool.
Motion. It's insanely creative. So he's very gifted, and so he now every month creates a motion graphics video that's a combination of like photographs of our tellers, like video of other things, and computer animation, let's put it that way. And it's based on the themes of the show. So our show on Sunday, January 19th, is promises. So Morton made this whole video that's all imagery about promises, and then we've got 4 TVs all around the bar upstairs, and the video's running during the soul music brunch.
Oh, wow.
It's an
immersive
creative
experience.
It's an immersive experience, and here's a guy, he's retired, right? He's insanely creative. He's so brilliant. You know what I mean? And this is like a platform for him. Obviously, he talks about his business to people, and he hands out his cards, as he should.
Absolutely.
And he can share his art. Because everybody wants to be seen and heard.
Yeah,
that's it.
Everyone just wants their
the magic
recognition.
Sauce. Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's so much talent, right?
There's so much talent
Everywhere that it's wild. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're pretty busy. You know,
I'm a busy gal.
You've got those things. You also work over at YOU.
I do.
And what do you do there?
So I teach a class that I developed. It's called Discover the Power of You. It's a lot of fun. And the class is a combination. It's like learning about personal expression through words and images. So I'm also a visual artist. So we do things like make vision boards and make these dolls called empowerment dolls, which are based on dolls that I make and also sell at the Evanston Farmers Market in the summertime. And the empowerment dolls have like a one-word message on the back of their necks that the kids get to choose. And so the messages are like risk and jump and try and be and evolve, like these very powerful verbs that they pick. They make, what else do they make? They do a lot of visual art, and then they do storytelling. They do spoken word, and we have a lot of discussions. I'm teaching it at Nichols Middle School right now. Mm-hmm. Middle schoolers are fascinating.
It's a tough time.
Wow. Well, people say it's a tough crowd. Our first day we walked in, all the kids I went to shake their hands were like, "No, you don't," and they hugged me.
Wow.
First time. I'm like, okay, this is going to be great.
Special group.
Very amazing group. Yeah. And I love YOU, in case people don't know what they do.
Yeah, so what is YOU? Like for people who don't know.
Sure. And I'm glad we're bringing this up, too. So YOU is Youth and Opportunity United. They're located on Church Street across from ETHS. And they do programming for K through 12 in 11 different schools across District 65, okay? And predominantly targeted to, how do they refer to this? What's the right term nowadays? I don't know. Children that needs programming. Let's just say that. Okay, like a lot of kids from low-income families, kids who might not be able to have access to this programming otherwise. So they collaborate with area partners, like they'll have theater groups come in, they have visual artists such as myself. There's a class in beat juggling right now. Like I want to take all these classes.
Beat juggling?
Hello? It's like DJing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an amazing organization. And they, by the way...
It's a beautiful building,
too. It's a new building relatively, too. And Monday, January 20th, Martin Luther King Day, they have something called DCU, Diverse Communities United. It's at ETHS in the auditorium at 2. And this is what it is. It's kids from all the 11 different schools, all ages, performing poetry, spoken word, video, dancing, singing, all about a theme. And I'm pretty sure, I hope I get this right, the theme this year is like, I am my ancestors' dreams.
Oh.
I sit in the front row and I bawl my eyes out every year. It's incredible. It's so powerful to see these kids, especially like a 5-year-old reciting a poem about who they can be and what their potential is.
It's empowering.
It's amazing. They're changing people's lives, children's lives.
They really are.
Yeah, it's
they're
beautiful.
a great program. I'd love to have them on the show.
I know. Maybe we can.
I think we should do that.
Make that happen.
Yeah.
Let's call people.
Are you ever bored?
I am never bored. That's a great question. My mom used to say, and my sister and I would go in there and say, we're bored. My mom would say, I am not a circus clown. Entertain yourself. But the other thing she would say is people who are bored with themselves.
Yeah.
Ouch. So then we'd be like, all right, go to the library, get a book, learn something, do something.
Engage yourself.
The world is fascinating. Yeah. If you're bored, it's because you're not jumping in with both feet.
Do people ever tell you, hey, you're doing too much, though?
My husband.
Yeah. Because some people will say, yeah, you're taking up all your time or whatever, but it's like you might lose focus. But, like for me, doing a lot of different things, I think it gives me energy and, invigorates me and keeps me from being bored. But for some people, it could be too much. I mean, what do you say to that? Because I know there's like this whole multi-potentialite, idea.
So I will now put my coaching hat on. Here we go. So there's a concept called right livelihood, which is amazing. And the whole idea behind right livelihood is that there is something that all of us are destined to be doing during our time here on the planet. And have you heard of Csikszentmihalyi from University of Chicago?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Okay, so he was fascinating. He did all this research about the flow state. I'm sure you've heard about the flow state. Like a lot of runners talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Or artists, musicians, writers talk about it. And so the whole concept is that when you are practicing your right livelihood, then you're in the flow state and you have that synchronicity and your energy is just unlimited because you're doing what you're basically supposed to be doing. So one of the things that I always talk with my clients about in coaching sessions is these 3 questions, which I think we had talked about, which is who are you, why are you here, and what's the story that you were sent to tell? And I really believe that everybody has a story. It changes, there are iterations,
Sure.
but there's a story. So I never get tired because I'm doing what I believe that I was sent here to do, which is to basically promote personal expression. And that's what I care about. That's what I'm excited about. And anything that kind of comes across my desk as an opportunity or a phone call, hey, Victoria, you want to do this? Then I just sort of go back to those 3 questions for myself and ask myself, well, does this resonate with, that which I want to do, which I'm manifesting, if I can use that word, in all these different parts of my life. And if it does, then I just say yes. And then all the pieces flow together for whatever it is to happen.
Do you say no to a lot?
I would say that sometimes I say no to clients, to be honest.
Really?
I know people are like, really? You turn money down? But
no,
yeah,
it's important.
I mean, it's important because, okay, here's the thing. When you work with people one-on-one also, right? In a sense.
Yes,
I mean, 100%. So if the person is not ready to receive that which you're offering, then you're just we people in general, we're just treading water, right?
Right.
And I mean, I am 55. Hello, true disclosure. Hi. So one thing that happens as we, progress on the planet, aka get older, is that you start to realize that there's more time behind me than in front of me, unless science makes it so I can live to be 110. So your time is very sacred, is what I'm saying, okay?
Absolutely.
So and I'm not trying to sound pretentious or weird by saying this, but I don't want to invest my time, but more importantly, like my energy, in situations that aren't, where there isn't like a harmonic convergence.
Yeah.
Because then we're just treading water.
I agree.
So maybe that person needs to be working with someone else. Or maybe I'm not the best person to host. People ask me to host shows all the time. That's one of the outcomes of Soul Stories Live, is that people walk up and be like, wow, because I host the show. And evidently I'm funny because people laugh. So people are like, dude, we're hosting the show in Glencoe. We're hosting the show here. We're producing a show. And we want to hire you to come up and host our show.
Well, that's a huge compliment.
Oh, it's like I'm insanely grateful every day, literally.
Yeah.
Legit, as the kids would say. I'm legit grateful, and I am. Yeah, but I have to say, okay, so what's your show about, right?
Yeah.
What's the messaging
But if
the intention of your show?
So it's that, and it's also just making sure that you kind of spiritually align with the person that you're working with, where you're not going to be drained of your energy because you're so frustrated with what you're experiencing, right?
Yeah, and I would say that that's great advice for everybody. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was thinking this morning actually a lot about prosperity consciousness. Are you familiar with this term?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're teaching me so much today.
I should have worn my kimono, my guru outfit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so prosperity consciousness is this whole idea that prosperity can come from unlimited sources. And it's not a, what do they say now for like male and female, or there's like the 2 sides of everything?
Yin yang?
Yeah, it's yin yang, but there's a new expression that people are using.
Yeah, that's not too deep.
Anyway, whatever. But it's like that. But so we in the West, let's just say in the West, we have a very linear concept of prosperity, right? It's like I put in the hours, I get paid.
Right.
Right.
It's money.
It's money, exactly. It's coming from this one source, like from my job into my bank account, right? Or if you have your own business. But prosperity consciousness says that prosperity is all around us, and it can come in all these different ways that we never even expected. And that we are taken care of. Like we start the day and we go, I'm taken care of. Like I know this. I'm not going to worry about it. And again, just to circle back to Brassy, to my solo show, that's a lot of what my show is about, is that we, you know, like I go these places where I don't even have a job. I don't know anybody. I have no connections. I just show up and I'm like, okay, let's do this. And in one part of the show, we're living in this super small town in the mountains in Oregon with like 600 people, us to maybe 700 there. And like there's a huge forest fire. We get chainsaws. We cut down the wood. We heat our house for free for 2 years. Like stuff like that. And that's a prosperity consciousness story, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just, and then anyway, I don't want to give away the whole thing, but in the end, when we
you already
move,
gave us the last line.
I know, it's like, yeah, right, so just don't come to see the show, okay? Just come see me at Firehouse instead.
No, do both.
Do both. Please do both, because I'd love to meet you. But no, but the whole point is that at the end, when we move out of this town in Oregon, we find out it had the highest unemployment of any town in Oregon. And Oregon had the highest unemployment of any state in the union during 2002 when we were living in that town.
Wow.
But we didn't even know.
It didn't even faze you.
We were just not in that mindset.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Because there was so much prosperity around you with everything else that was going on. You just took these opportunities, right?
We like walk out the back door and pick an apple from the tree in our yard of the house we were renting. And we're like, we are living large.
Yeah, what a way to live.
Free apples. I don't know. It's a perspective.
If you were, when you're 20 years old and you look at, you know, Brassy and you look at how you're playing out your life, would you have expected it to be the way that it's turned out so far?
When I was 20 years old, I moved out of my parents' house and in a cabin that had no toilet and no electricity next to a pond with about 100 ducks and my boyfriend at the time. And my parents said, if you move in with him, we're disowning you. And I said, fine. And then like the next morning they came over with placemats and like a cooler full of food. So yeah, I think I could have predicted that my life would turn out the way that it has, because I've always just done, I mean, I don't want to sound like I was disrespectful, but I've just always listened to my own gut and been like, this is what I want to do. And I'm sorry if people don't understand it, but I just had to be me. I can't be anyone else. I got to be me.
Right. We only have one time here.
This is it.
Yeah.
It's not a dress rehearsal.
No, it's not dress rehearsal at all.
Right. So, yeah, I went to Mexico when I was 18 by myself. That was my first international trip.
Wow.
Short story on that, I got robbed. It was like, remember, you're probably too young to remember this. Remember Carl Malden and the American Express commercials?
No, I
exactly.
don't.
Okay, so well, anybody over whatever, say 50. So American Express traveler's checks, right?
Sure.
This is back in the day before we all had credit cards. So Carl Malden did this commercial where a person would be going into like a crowded festival in a foreign country, and then they get robbed. And then it'd be like, American Express traveler's checks, don't leave home without them.
Oh, sure, I know those.
Right, because then you could get your money back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I go to Mexico by myself. I'm like, I'm doing it. My parents like, okay, be careful. And I gave them a run for their money.
Oh, I'm
so
sure
sorry.
you did.
I'm getting it back now. My kid's in New York. He keeps me up at night. But yeah, so I went to Mexico. I'm in this huge crowd. I get robbed by an older woman with a switchblade who was very creative. My bag was across my chest, and she came up between my armpit and my waist, and she just slipped my bag, and she reached in. And and this is before I knew how to travel, so I had my passport, my plane ticket, all my money, everything.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I'm standing in this festival, I'm crying, I don't speak Spanish, I'm alone. And this man comes up to me, he's like, are you okay? He spoke English, he was an English teacher. I told him what happened, he goes, it's okay, you can come home with me and my family. I stayed with them for 4 days. He took me to the American consulate, I got another passport, my parents sent me another plane ticket. Yeah.
So you learned how to rely on yourself at that time, right?
And the universe at large.
Yeah.
Because people would be like, you're 18, you're staying in the house with someone you don't know. But he came up to me with his wife was there. And they're just like, no, it's okay. We're going to help you.
They're like angels sent to you.
100%. And it's happened to me many, many times in many countries and many situations.
Well, I think it's part of it. It's being open-minded to take the help, take the initiative, and just kind of go with the flow.
And don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of that which you don't know, because these people could be your new friends, which they turned out to be.
I've learned so much.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Me too. This is fun.
This is. I mean, really, I think that if people go see Brassy and Intrepid, see your show, they're going to learn a lot more. And I mean, there's a lot more in between the last lines
There
in the
definitely,
beginning.
there definitely is. And
Between the speculum and the words of wisdom.
there we start with openness, we end with openness. That's what the whole show is about. It's very funny. Last blog on that. So my husband's a DJ. He plays music throughout the show. We've got like Aretha Franklin, CeCe Pettison, Chaka Khan. It's funny and wacky and a celebration. The crowd is involved. The audience is involved. And it's...
You're not going to be bored.
You will not be bored. You'll be on the edge of your seat being like, what? That was an hour? My God.
So just remind everybody, what are the dates? Where is it at again? And where do they go to buy tickets?
Cool. And then I guess I'll just do one last Soul Stories thing, too.
Oh, please.
Okay, so Brassy and Intrepid is Friday, January 17th at 8:30 at the Teal Room, 1405 West Morse in Chicago. And a second performance on Sunday, January 26th at 4 p.m., also at the same location. The tickets are $10. You can pay cash at the door. I think this will probably sell out, so I would suggest going online. And you can go to Lifeline Theater, THETRE, lifelinetheater.com, and there's a ticket link right on there under Filet of Solo. The second show, which is ongoing, is called Soul Stories Live here in Evanston at the Firehouse Grill. It is once a month. We have different dates. Can I throw out the dates real quick?
Please.
Okay, January 19th is Promises. It's always on a Sunday from 1 to 4. January 19th, the theme is Promises. February 16th, Juicy Tales, Very Sexy Stories. Leave the kids at home.
Okay.
March 22nd, Renegade Women, also going to be wild. April 19th, Synchronicity, and May 31st, Family Drama. So Soul Stories Live, go to facebook.com/Soul Stories Live. You can get all of our updated shows. Tickets are $15, sold on Eventbrite in advance, and that show for sure sells out, even though we could fit 100 up there. I would definitely grab your tickets and come right at 1. Get some food, laugh, and have fun. Meet a friend.
And is there anywhere else on social media that people should follow you?
So they can check out my website, which is www.BrassyVictoriaReeves.com. There's footage on there of my stand-up and a lot of storytelling appearances at shows all over the city, and more information about me and how to get in contact with me and the services that I provide.
Well, thank you for what you do and what you provide to this community, because it's totally unique.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and it just is another great facet of our small town.
Thank you. And if people want to do a story, just come up to me at a show, or you can connect with me through our Facebook page. We're always looking for local storytellers and to help represent the voices of our community. So real talk, find me, Victoria Reeves, on Facebook, and let's figure it out.
It's awesome. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you for having me. This was
a pleasure.
Fun.
Yes, and everyone, thanks so much for listening.
Peace out.
Thanks so much, everyone, for listening to this latest episode of Inside the Skev. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to know more about the Skev and more about what I do as a real estate agent in the area, go to skevinson.com. They got a lot of great information there about exciting guests that have been on the show, live events that are coming up, and any type of information that you're looking for. And if you have any suggestions or questions for me, feel free to email me at aaron@skevinson.com. Always happy to hear from people. And thanks so much for listening, and please subscribe.